Hi everyone, my name is Jade Calver. Today we'll be talking about the Ontario Express Entry Stream. So the Ontario Express Entry Stream is a program under the Ontario PNP, so the Provincial Nomination Program, that allows people to apply for permanent residency through the province through the Express Entry online system. So there are a few ways that you need to qualify for the Express Entry Stream. So the first step is to have a valid Express Entry profile. So this is through the federal government, not the Ontario government. So first you need to have a valid federal Express Entry profile and have an active profile. Secondly is that you need to qualify for either the Canadian Experience class or the Federal Skilled Worker Stream. The important thing in order to qualify is that you need to indicate that you either want to settle in Ontario or all provinces and territories in your federal Express Entry profile. So what starts the application is that you receive what's called a notification of interest, or an NOI, in your federal Express Entry profile. So that's really the first step to qualifying towards the OINP Express Entry application. So once you receive your NOI, or your notification of interest, your first step is to create an online profile in the Ontario online system. So this is called a One Key account. Generally you have 45 days from that day that you get the NOI in your Express Entry profile to submit all of your application, including documents and forms, through the Ontario online system. Essentially what you're doing in the application is showing that you're eligible for the OINP stream. So you can be invited under a few streams. Today I'll be taking the example of the skilled trades stream. Once you've started your application, you'll be logged into an account. Depending on whether you're using a representative or not, either your representative will be able to upload documents, or if you're doing it yourself, you'll be able to upload your own documents. So there are a few things that I'll go over today where people make the most errors commonly. So the first is work experience. So they'll ask for proof of your work experience that makes you eligible for the application. Under the Federal Skilled Trades class, for example, you need to show a minimum of 1 year or equivalent part-time in your major declared occupation. So if you're working as a millwright, for example, you need to provide documentation showing that you performed work under that occupation. They're going to ask for things such as an offer letter, a reference letter, pay stubs, T4 slips, and NOAs. It's very important that you get this letter of reference right because it's what the immigration officer will compare your duties against for your chosen occupation. It's very important that you show that you performed all of the duties that are listed under your occupation for that line of work. Also important to note, if you're applying under the trades category, is that you show that you have a certificate to perform your trade in Ontario. So for example, some trades are regulated in Ontario. If this is required in your trade, you need to show this trade certificate, or else you will not be eligible for the application. Another requirement is to show that you're currently residing in Ontario. Often I use utility bills as well as IDs showing an Ontario address and your current work permit, a valid work permit showing that you're eligible to be working in Ontario. You also need to show proof of your language results. So this needs to be either the IELTS or the CELPIP. Under the trades category, you need to have at least CLB 5 in either French or English to be eligible for the trades category. These need to be taken within the last 2 years. If your IELTS are older than 2 years, then you're going to have to retake them before you submit all of your documentation. Settlement funds also need to be provided. There is one exception to the settlement funds requirement. So if you're working in Ontario, which you would be in the trades class, then you can use your proof of future income as proof of funds. Lastly is the intent to reside in Ontario. You need to show that you intend to reside in Ontario. Examples of this can be, again, as I said before, your utility bills, any kind of ID from Ontario. You can also use your job letter, or if you have any friends or family in Ontario, you would have to show, you can show their identification as well. But keep in mind, if you're showing that your family is living here, then you're going to have to provide birth certificates to show how they're related to you. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed my tips for the OINP Express Entry online application. Contact my firm today at jade@calverandassociates.com.